Then in chapter 1, we will find that we want to talk about a rational number. Rational numbers, it is any number we can write it in the form of a over b, right? And the denominator is not equal 0. If we will start with the story from the beginning we have natural numbers, or we can donate it by counting numbers. So counting numbers is what? Counting numbers was what? Hmm. Counting numbers means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, right?
Yes.
What is next? They have whole number. Whole number. Then they added
0, 1, 2, 3,
here.
4,
Yes,
5.
they added 0 to the numbers. Then we have at the beginning counting numbers, which it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Next, we have whole number. Then they added 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they discovered integer numbers. Integer numbers means what? Integer numbers.
-2, -1, 1 كده.
Negative and positive and 0, right? So for whole number, which it was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, they added the negative number and they compound a new set of numbers, which it called integer numbers. Then they expand a set of numbers to make a new set of numbers, which is called rational numbers. Then they added decimal and fractions. If there anyone can tell me um, any type of decimal, it will belong to set of rational number. Any type of decimal, it will belong to the set of rational numbers. Hmm. Any type?
True or false ولا question؟
لا لا my question is any any decimal can be a rational number. Any type of decimal?
No. No طبعا.
No طبعا. Why? Which type of decimals? Which type of decimals we can use?
Repeating
The non-repeat decimals.
Repeat
Terminating.
decimal, yes, yes.
Terminating.
Repeating decimal, agree with you, yes. And
Terminating.
terminating decimal, excellent. Yes, this is what I'm looking for, right? So we have two types of decimals. We can use it with rational numbers, which is terminating decimals and repeating decimals, okay? And the infinite decimal, this is not a rational, but we can donate it by irrational numbers. We can donate it by what? Irrational numbers. Then we said repeating decimals and what? And what? Terminating, right? Terminating decimals belong to rational numbers, right? Then don't forget that repeating decimals and terminating decimals belong to rational numbers, except those two types of decimals we will not accept, and it will belong to where? It will belong to irrational numbers. Clear? Then when we have all these set of numbers, we found that we have a big set of numbers. It's called real numbers. Real numbers means the set of real numbers is all numbers that can be written on a number line. It consists of the set of rational and the set of irrational numbers. Then any number belong to counting, belong to whole, belong to integer, belong to rational, belong to irrational. All of these numbers belong to what? the mother set, which is called real numbers.
Real number.
Okay, then recall. This is a type of question. We maybe have it in uh, this. Are you with me already? Right?
Yes.
You can with me, all right? What the
Yes.
problem? I don't know what the problem. Recall, the rational numbers can be written as the quotient of two integers, a fraction, or as entire terminating or repeating decimals. Then you can change the numbers now, 3 and 4 over 5. 3 and 4 over 5, we can change it into decimal or not. 3 and 4 over 5. We can change it into decimal. How we will change 4 over 5? Did you remember? How?
We'll make 3 multiply 5 is 15 and 15 plus 4.
Okay, so
So 19 over 5.
by this way, you are going to write the number 5 times 3, 15. So it will be, as you said, Yakenzi, 19 over what? 19 over
5.
5, right? But this one now, it's written in a fractional form. My question was how we can change this number into decimal. So we can think together 19 over 5. Did you remember a list? I said that we have a list, and in case if you have a number in this list, so we will change the number into decimal directly, which is 2 times 2 times 5 equals 10. So in case if I have the denominator, it has 2 or 5, so we can multiply, yani if it's 2, we will multiply by 5. If it's 5, we will multiply by 2 and so on. 4 times 25 equal 100. 16 times 625 equal 1000. 10,000, sorry, and 8 times 125 equal 1000. Okay, if I have 3 and 4 over 5, so this is 3. What about if it's not allowed to use calculator to change this one into fraction, to do decimal? You have 4 over what, grade 8? Over what? Over 5,
5.
right? What is the partner for 5? Is there a partner for 5? We have what?
2.
2. Then we will multiply the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2, which means I have 3 and 8 over what? Over 10. 8 over 10 means the decimal point, it will be after how many digits? The decimal point, it will be after how many digits? After only one digit, 8 over 10. So it will be 3.8. Okay, so this is in case if you have a fraction and you want to change the fraction into decimal. Okay, what else? 2 over 3. Is there anyone can tell me how we are going to change this number into decimal? If it's not allowed to use the calculator, how? We are going to use what? Should be long division. 2 divided by 3. L2 is less than 3, so you are going to put 0 dot, right? and then you will drop down 0. 20 divided by 3, the closest number is 6. So 6 times 3, it will be equal 18. Then you have 2, drop down 0. So it will be 6, and so on. For this reason, we said that minus 18 and so on. For this reason, we said that the answer it will be what? 0 point what? 0 point what? 6 repeating. This is 0 0.6 repeating. Okay, grade 8.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What about the last one? The last one, square root of 1.44. How you can solve it? How we can solve this one? Square root 144. Excellent, my dear. Excellent. Okay, then we said again, in case we have square root 1.44, so again, square root 144 equal how many? Grade 12, sorry,
12.
grade 8, it will be
12.
how many?
12.
12. But he said that it's 1.44, which means we have a decimal point after 2 digits under the square root. Then we have 1 point after for the answer. So square root 1.44 equal 1.4, which means in this one, the rational numbers which we can find it with with a mixed number or with a fraction or under a radical sign, if we can change the number. Now, let me ask you a question. 1.2, we can change it into fraction or not? We can change 1.2 into fraction or not? 1.2. If you are going to recall it, if you are going to rewrite,
Yes.
it
Yes.
will be what? It will
12
be
over
exactly, it will be 12 over what?
10.
12 over 10. We can write it in simplest form. So it will be 6 over 5.
5.
If I want to write it in mixed, because this is improper fraction, it will be 1 and 1 over 5. Okay, then this is terminating decimal, this is repeating decimal, this is terminating decimal, which means all the examples in front of us now belong to what? Belong to rational numbers. Okay, any questions so far? Let's move to the next part. What is the irrational numbers? The irrational numbers can be written only as decimals, which means it's impossible to find irrational number in a fractional form that don't terminate or repeat. They cannot be written as a quotient of two integers. If a whole number is not a perfect square, then its square root is an irrational number. Let me give you a question. Could you please try to find the answer for square root 2? Square root 2. Use your calculator, please, and find the answer for the square root 2. It will be a decimal or a
1.3.
fraction. 1.2.
1.4141 is irrational.
It's irrational. It's a long decimal, right? It's a long
Yes.
decimal.
Yeah.
And square root 2, this is not a perfect square numbers, right? Let me say something. Square root 25. It will
5.
be rational or irrational?
Rational.
Rational.
Yes.
Square root 7. It will be rational or irrational?
Irrational.
Irrational. Thank you. So we know the difference between rational and irrational. Let's continue. A repeating decimals may not appear to repeat on a calculator because calculators show a finite number of digits, right? Then for a repeating decimals, you know when you have 0.6666, right? Maybe not appear on the calculator because the calculator show a finite numbers of digits, which means we will continue, but the screen, it will give you the last number, but it's يعني in fact it will be continued. Now it's your turn, grade 8. Write all the classifications that apply to each number. And this is a type of question, maybe have it in our quiz or term exam as an application about rational and irrational number. Is there anyone can tell me how we can classify the first question, square root 5?
I see.
Yes, please.
This will be a rational number and a real number.
Exactly. So the first one, it should be it's irrational and a whole number, right? 5 is a whole under it that is not a perfect square. For this reason, we are going to denote it, it's irrational and real. What about the second number? Negative 12.75. It will be
integer.
integer, integer with
integer.
integer with
ما في
decimal
negative.
point.
لا decimal. Okay.
Decimal, yes. And which type of decimal?
لا term
Terminating.
صح؟
Yes, it's terminating.
terminating.
For this reason, we can say that this number is what?
rational.
Rational. And what?
real.
Real. Exactly. So negative 12.7 is a terminating decimal, and we can classify it by rational and real. What about the last question, grade 8? Last question.
rational and real.
Rational and real. If there anyone can note something here in this fraction? Square
Can I
root?
say?
Yes.
Will be natural and whole and integer and real and rational.
Thank you. Why? Because square root 16, it's a perfect square number, right? So we can simplify it to becomes 4, and we have the denominator equal to. Then the answer, it will be equal to, which means it will be whole, integer, rational, and real. Is that clear? Then to classify the number, we have to determine all the sets which the number belong to it. Another question, square root 9, it will be square root 9. The answer, it will be how many directly?
3.
3. So how you will classify it? 3, it will be whole, integer, rational, and then real. The next, this is a terminating decimal, so it will be rational and real. We have to classify. So it will be 9 over 3, it will be equal 3, which means it will be whole, integer, rational, and real. A fraction with a denominator of 0 is undefined because you cannot divide any number by 0. So it is not number at all, okay? Which means state if each is a rational, irrational, or not a real number. Okay, so the question now, state if each number is rational, irrational, or not a real number. Square root 21. Square root 21. It will be
Irrational
number. Okay, and what else?
and real number.
And real number, exactly. So it will be irrational number and real. What about 0 over 3?
rational.
It will be
لا
0.
ايوه rational. لا irrational. sorry
rational or irrational? Rational. Right? Rational. And what else?
whole.
And what else?
real.
Integer.
And real.
Okay, so it's rational and we can say it's real. State if each number is rational or irrational or not a real number. 4 over 0.
لا ما ينفعش rational عشان فيها zero. يبقى
irrational and real number.
real number or rational?
No. It's 4 over 0. 4
and be rational.
0, not a real number. Not a real
This will
number.
be error.
Okay, the choice, did you read the question, please? Huh? State if each number is rational, irrational, or not a real number. So choose one word. This question is
Not a real
not,
number.
this one is not for classifications. This question to only say if it's a rational, irrational, or not a real. So we have to say what? It's not a real number.
Not a real.
If I'm asking my dear students why it's not a real number, because the denominator,
It can be rational
yes,
و
or
يعني
irrational,
zero يعني.
because this one is undefined. Nothing will divide by zero.
Miss,
Okay.
so it's not rational or irrational.
No, no, it's not real. It's not real. It will not be
The
rational
real
or
is inside it, the rational and irrational.
no, a real, the whole mother, right? So if it's not
Yes.
belong to rational and it's not belong to irrational, then for sure it will not belong to real, right?
Yes.
Then the choices was rational, irrational, not real.
Yes.
Okay, so we will not choose rational, we will not choose irrational, but we are going to write not real. Okay, another
Okay.
question. State if each number is rational, irrational, or not a real. The first one is,
Irrational and real number.
Irrational. Oh, okay.
Irrational.
take care. This question, it's not classifications. Then your answer, you have to choose only one word. Is that clear? Then
Mm.
the question said rational, irrational, not real. Then which one we are going to choose?
Irrational.
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 Thank you. Irrational. That's it. What about question number B?
Not real.
Not real.
Not real number.
Not real number. So the first one, it will be irrational. And the second one, it's undefined. So not a real number. State if rational, irrational, or not a real. Quickly, tell me. Square root
Rational.
4. It will be rational. Why you think
Rational.
Rational.
why did you said like this? From
Because
where?
it's a fraction. Because it's a fraction.
Fraction.
Answer.
Fraction.
Yes,
Rational.
yes. The answer. No, it's not only fraction. You
And repeat it.
the square root of 64. It will be how many? Square root of
8.
64, it will
8.
be 8, right? And the square of 89, square root of 89 would be 9. So this one, 64 over 81, it was 8 times over 9 times 8 over 9. Then we will find the answer, and the answer, it will be equal 8 over 9. So this one is a rational number. Next, find a real number between 3, 2 over 5 and 3, 3 over 5. How we can find a real number between them? There are many solutions. One solution is half between two numbers to find it. He said find a real, only one number between them. Okay, so to add, we will add them together and then we will divide it by 2. Okay, again, find a real number between 3 2 over 5 and 3 3 over 5. Someone can say, Miss Taha, 2 over 5, the next number exactly, it will 3 over 5. No, we have infinite numbers between them because we are talking about real, which means we will accept the decimal, will fraction, will mix it, and so on. Then in case if you have a question like this and you want to find a real, so we will add them together and then we will divide it
Divided by 2.
by 2 to find a real number. Then 3 2 over 5 and 3 3 over 5, we have 3.5 between them. We can use our graph to check. If I have 3 3 1 over 5, 3 2 over 5, 3 3 3 over 5, 3 4 over 5, and 4. Where we can find 3.5? We can find it
Between 3
2
2
over
5
yes, and 3 3 over 5. Find a real number between. What about if we have a question like this? We will
add and then divided by 2.
and then divide it by 2. Thank you. We will use the same way. Write all the classifications at the end. You can answer. This is the final, which we revised today. Write all the
Right.
classifications. I think we know. State if each number is rational, irrational, or not. Find a real number between those two numbers. Is there anyone don't know how he can answer all these questions? And you will
Yeah,
find
no, thank
all the presentations with the answers. You will find it in our